Republicans are starting to get nervous because lies from other Republicans about the Electoral College could cause Americans to say we don't need no stinking Electoral College, and that will be big, big trouble for the GOP. Check this out. Leave your comments, ding the bell, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. Welcome back. One other... It just never stops, right? One other thing the Republicans are freaking out about, right? Generally speaking, the GOP has been fine with fascist movements. I mean, it was a fascist movement, as I pointed out in the previous block, 15, 20 minutes ago. It was a fascist movement in the United States that was called the America First movement. They were openly fascist. They used Nazi symbols, just like today, right? And back during the Confederate time, you had a fascist movement in the South in the 1860s. And they even had people who were on their side in the North. The mayor of New York City in 1860 suggested that New York City should join the South and secede from the Union. I mean, that's how crazy it gets, right? But this particular fascist movement right now wants to hang on to power. And they know that one of the things that has given them power is the Electoral College. Keep in mind, the last time an initial candidate for president who was a Republican won the Electoral College, won the popular vote in the United States. The last time a Republican candidate for president who was not running for re-election, the last time a Republican candidate for president not running for re-election won a majority of the vote in the United States was 1988. That is, 33 years ago, if I'm doing my math right? 33 years ago was the last time a Republican president became president because they won the popular vote and the Electoral College. And so, obviously, the Republicans don't want the Electoral College to go away. George W. Bush lost the popular vote by 500,000 votes to Al Gore. Al Gore got 500,000 more votes than George W. Bush. He should have been president. Hillary Clinton got 3 million more votes than Donald Trump. She should have been president. So now there's a bunch of Republicans, kind of a small group of them, as it were. It is being apparently led, this group is apparently being led by, that's totally weird, it didn't print out right, is apparently being led by Thomas Massie, and who is there's a great story about this, by the way, over on Raw Story. He's a Republican from Kentucky. He's being joined by Kelly Armstrong, Republican from North Dakota, Ken Buck, Republican from Colorado, Mike Gallagher, Republican from Wisconsin, Nancy Mace, Republican from South Carolina, Tom McClintock, Republican from California, and Chip Roy, Republican from Texas. These Republican members of the House of Representatives issued a joint statement saying, stop contesting the election, because not literally saying this, but saying this in essence. Stop contesting the election because what you're really contesting is the Electoral College and the choice of electors and all that kind of stuff. And we don't want to give the Democrats and Republicans who might agree with them a rationale for doing away with the Electoral College, because if we do away with the Electoral College, we won't any longer be able to put Republicans in the White House even when they lose elections. It's very straightforward. And so basically they're saying is, that here it is. To take action to unconstitutionally insert Congress into the center of the presidential election process would amount to stealing power from the people and the states. It would, in effect, replace the Electoral College with Congress, and in so doing, strengthen the efforts of those on the left who are determined to eliminate or render the Electoral College irrelevant, which would be a constitutional amendment or the nationalpopularvote.com movement. So they're saying, be careful. You guys, you know, with all these stunts, if you delegitimize the Electoral College, you are doing away with the one thing that's keeping us in power. That should tell us all something.